Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to your Tuesday morning edition of Second Breakfast with me and the Morning Reprobates. Shellback, what's happening? We've had one dungeon of all dooms, but what about second dungeon of even more dooms? Maybe. The boy, my son, is uh, slowly getting ready for his noon o'clock game with a passel of his school chums, and we spent all night working on that. That's why there was no early morning video. Sorry, guys. I will have something for you tomorrow. I am currently speed painting some giant centipedes for his adventure, should he need them. I think he's going to. They're in a jungle environment, and he needed some bugs and some creepy crawlers, and I just happened upon these moments before he had mentioned it. So I'm like, hey, how about these? Like, oh, well, they're not painted. Piece of cake. They're just little Reaper bones, giant centipedes, kind of creepy. There's three. I could have swore there were four. Okay, all four of those guys are done. Then I came across a little basilisk. Again, to give him the same treatment. I'm using Chart, Charming Chartreuse by Army Painter. It's one of my favorite greens for some reason. It's got this weird undertone of yellow that it makes for really creepy, lizardy, plant-like flesh tones. And Shellback, we were actually talking about you, me, and George and Dave um, from Emperor's Choice in regards to the fact that you're in Japan and you're something of an Arduin fan. Is that correct? Because if you're not, you should be, because Arduin's the best. Prove me wrong. Oh, let's wait. You can't, because it's a, well, it's. I was going to say it's a subjective thing, but no, it's absolutely the truth. I can picture the color. Yeah, it's a fun color. I just ran out of demonic yellow, which they no longer make in the regular. I have to get the, I think it's the airbrush paints. It's your basic classic Bad Moon Yellow, I think, from uh, Games Workshop fame back in the day. I used that color a lot. Going to use it some more here. And let's see, where else can I use this color? Because I poured out a little bit too much. Oh, we'll make a book this color. Why not? I do everything in a assembly line fashion so that I never waste a drop of paint, because it's such a pain in the butt restocking paint. Even though I get it from a place in California. Oh, you didn't know about it before then? Well, you will love what you receive. You have my word on that. It's so chock full of greatness. But like I said, I was saying, all my paints are Monument and the Cephalopod. Never heard of. I think I've heard of Monument actually, but Cephalopod, definitely haven't heard of that one. I'm going to use this on this dwarf. Nope, that's too busy. Yeah, I'll use it on this guy's robe. This little dwarf I got here. Uh, even though I get my stuff from Gnomish Bazaar, and it's here in a couple of days, but sometimes that's all it takes to get me uh, in a bad way when I'm trying to paint things in a hurry or get things done. Like today, where I've only got a few hours before the game, and even though I'm not running it, I'm just going to be a bystander. There's a whole lot of things I need to do. I need to do a little vacuuming, a little cleaning up, so the place, looks as nice as possible. There's going to be some new kids, I think, showing up, and you know, Jackie wants to make a great first impression, even though some of his friends are kind of weird. but teenagers, right? So, what are you guys up to this morning? Brands and some Japanese brand craft paint. Craft paint will do in a pinch. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If you know its limitations and you know what it's good for, you'll be just fine. I was just using some of the magic separated neon orange from decades ago to do some candles and candelabras and torches and things like that. If you can see that, but one coat, calling it a day. Looks fiery, but mostly peaceful, so why the hell not? And I have one little drop left of that color. Oh, wait, Mr. Scarecrow here. I bet I could do his pants in that color. The Scarecrow is the Scarecrow from the Reaper Wizard of Oz steampunk line that Tenkar from Tenkar's Tavern sent. He sent us the whole Kickstarter of Reaper Bones, and I'm still painting them. 300 minis later, probably 4 years later, still painting them up. And he just out of nowhere, just like, yeah, take them off my hands. Like, yeah. And I of course handed many of them over to friends of Jackie's so that they could get some use out of them. The Reaper White Bones, as we all know, kind of a crappy material, but these were actually in the Reaper Gray, and some of the bigger models or minis from the white plastic work. They're not great, but if they're big and bulky and have like thick legs, they're not likely to droop, which is a kind of sad reality with that line of plastic. But so, what are you guys up to this morning? Any cool projects? Any cool activities for this summer? I actually found more scatter terrain in another box right down here, looking for stuff for Jackie. And like I found the centipedes and the basilisk and some other dungeons and lasers scatter terrain. I'm like, oh, I never finished that. Might as well hop on it and get it done. But I did manage to knock out one, two. Oop, that one's not done. About 7 pieces last night. Yeah, some of the they're not just rubbery. The legs are often never strong enough to hold the weight, so they will just droop and wilt. Cuttlefish colors, not cephalopod. The craft paints are Amsterdam brand acrylic. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. I've got titanium white, primary magenta, jet black, primary yellow, primary cyan. Uh, I, Black, gray. I was using golden sunset. That's a nice wood color. Antique white or ivory, and of course the famous. I'm serious, guys. Go out and get yourself a bottle of apple barrel neon orange and put it somewhere and forget about it. I'm telling you guys, you will love the fact. Even brand new, it's a nice fiery color, but something about the age where it starts to separate, and even if you mix it a little because you kind of need to, otherwise it'll be like medium, and when you squirt it out, just a clear liquid. It makes for the best fire, uh, unless you're really good at painting fire, in which case, my hat's off to you because even Jackie, when he painted his best fire, used that, but used other stuff as well. But that stuff, it just does. There's just something about it. It's like one of the original. Uh, uh, what would they call it before speed paints? Oh God, what was that? Gouache. Okay, uh, fair enough. What was it called? Well, anyways, you know what I'm talking about, the Citadel paints that were speed paint. Gosh, total brain fart. Oh well, what do you expect? It's still early for me. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's already hotter than hell in here. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like 85, 90 degrees with the sun baking right through that window. If it gets any worse, I'm going to call it, because it's just it's noticeably miserable up here. On the pride side, these minis are already dry, and I can go on to hitting them with a dry brush of something green and metallic, and that means I've got this right here from Army Painter, glitter green. It's one of the colored metallics. All of these paints are fantastic. People complain that they're too thick, and I'm like, are you kidding? That's what you want. You want a thick paint when you're going to be dry brushing, and if you don't like it so thick, add some water or add some medium, a couple of light thin coats, and you'll be very, very happy with the results. So I'm going to get a little of that. Oh, this is fine. It's already coming out. It's just, you know, nice and liquidy. And I got my centipedes. Let's find a fair dry brush. This will work. I just want to give them their upper scales, uh, a chitinous. Yes, I am the desert right now. It's warm, and we've got the AC set for like 76, but downstairs it's much cooler. I'm upstairs in the studio here, and that looks fantastic. And I could almost call it a day on this guy, but I'm not. I'm gonna do a little more. I don't know, see if you can see that. Yeah, oh no, this paint is too high quality. No, no. I've got Citadel, I've got Reaper, I've got Vallejo, I've got Army Painter, and 4 or 5 different brands of craft paint, and everything has a purpose. Everything has a use when it comes to this hobby. You can always, you know, use it for terrain. If worse comes to worse, and you're not proficient yet at watering it down and things like that, you can always use it for terrain paint or base coats or whatever. I started out with craft paint. Well, I started out technically with testers model paint, but I quickly found that was a nightmare. I was spending more money on the turpentine or paint thinner than I was on the paints as a youngster, and my parents hated the smell of that stuff. They were kind of really sensitive to fumes and things like that. So I just went to the craft store, discovered craft paints, and they were like 29 cents a bottle or whatever back then, versus like $5 for a bottle of or a container of turpentine or what have you. And it turned out fine. I still have hundreds of minis in my collection that are painted with craft paints, and you can't really tell. Mostly 25 millimeter stuff, and they look fine. Uh, I may even go over some of that stuff later on down the road, to give them washes and things like that may spruce them up a little, but for the most part, it's not necessary. The the paint is keeping them from rotting, which will happen. Hey, squirrel, what's up? Sunny, light breeze, a few clouds, 70 degrees as of now. High temp expected to be 75. Zero humidity. Perfect weather for the porch. Nice, nice. I won't see anything like that until September, October. It's only going to get hotter as the days go by, as we get closer and closer to full fledged uh, middle of July, August heat wave, fire season. Uh, it almost we almost always have a sky full of brush fire smoke for the 4th of July. Almost absolutely, almost always, and nothing we can do about it. Where we live, there's a lot of brush, a lot of stuff to catch on fire out here, and a lot of dumb people doing dumb things. I guess I don't know. Um, there's not a lot of people like walking in the brush, to drop a cigarette or whatever. I suppose maybe from passing cars, but most people don't smoke in their car anymore, so I can't really picture that being the case. But I guess it's got to come from somewhere. Besides like last year when they caught that person just lighting them intentionally. That's pretty fucked up. I mean, there aren't a lot of, if any, legitimate reasons to be doing that kind of shit, but yet they were doing it. I'm getting lucky here. I don't know. Maybe it's. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I did it. Ooh, I'm going to show you this. Uh, just dry brushed some of that leftover green metal. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look spiffy? Yeah. Uh, it's the back of the Dwarven Throne. Squirrel wants to join me and rub it in. Welcome to the show, brother. How you been?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm well. How you been?
Hot and sweaty, but otherwise loving it. I posted some pictures of the 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 terrain that Jackie will be using for his game this afternoon. It looks pretty cool. I would have done a little bit more, but he, uh, isn't quite sure where the players are going to get and how far they're going to move along. But it's fun stuff. Dungeons and Lasers, man, can't say enough good things about it. Just make sure you have plenty of storage space once you get addicted to it.
Yeah, you are quite the Dungeons and Lasers enthusiast.
I'm telling you, since day one, um, I just happened to be on the internet and happened to get an email, and not an email, but an ad. I don't know if it was on YouTube or something. I saw it and I went, "Oh my god!" And I just, in like Flynn since the first stuff, and we still use the first stuff, but the new stuff that's coming out, you know, use that as well. And for the completely, 100% immersive 3D terrain, it's the best, the most durable, reusable stuff that you could ask for. It's damn near Lego quality plastic, and snaps together and comes apart, and I've only had one piece break from any kind of use, putting the clips and the walls and the floors together, and it was the stuff that's made out of this clear windshield plastic that's
Yeah,
always brittle, and I didn't know better, and I used a pair of clippers and snipped off something, and it cracked a piece, and from that point we just got ourselves a hot knife, and no worries if you've ever got clear plastic that you need to take off a sprue, hot knife it. Um, it won't, because if you break something that's clear plastic and you try to glue it together, you will always see the glue uh, weld. But if you don't have to do that, and you can hot knife, and what I do is I hot knife a little bit extra away from the where I want to clip, and then I can go back with a pair of fingernail clippers, actually toenail clippers, and go in and get that little bit, which is way better. For some reason, um, it's a better clip than if you use something like these guys, or
okay.
even
Yeah.
or even these. because it's curved. Right here, this curve.
Yep.
There aren't many
Yep.
clippers that have this indentation, this crescent curve. That I'm telling you, man, I use that as much as I use my regular clippers because it's a two-part, a two-step process. Big clip, finer clip, and especially like spears and swords when uh, they're connected on the sprue by part of the, by part of the spear or the sword. I'll clip away from it, and then I can go back in there and just and there's sometimes I don't even have to do any filing or use an X-Acto knife to fix it or trim it up, get it, perfect. I can just and it's ready to paint or primer.
Nice.
Yeah, dumb people. We got that here as well. Yeah, there's just so much dumbness going on these days. I didn't used to notice it before, and I don't want to sound all, you know, highfalutin, high and mighty. I'm a genius. Blah blah blah. Um, we just got some dumb sons of bitches out there. Um, just such a huge, massive percentage of the population across the board. You know,
Yeah, it would seem so for sure.
um, and I'm not the brightest, crayon in the tool shed. I do dumb stuff, but I mean, like, just egregiously dumb. Just,
Oh yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
we are the last of the hardiest of people. I think. Obviously, there's some hard asses out there in really rough places, but we got the best of like both worlds. The stupidity is the stuff cleaning oven. Uh, yeah, but the process is really really slow. You muted yourself. I don't know if that was intentional, but oh, okay, good.
I had a choo-choo trains were going by, so I figured
Ah,
I'd mute.
yeah, no worries. I kind of like it. Not in the middle of his show, obviously. Like because like Brian, he had the same issue all the freaking time. There's trains. There were. He moved since then, but um, growing up as a kid, man, seeing the train go by, there was just something like just awe inspiring about it. I mean, here you are, this little 3-4 foot tall creature, and this giant freaking metal wall of clanking and sputtering and sparking and steaming freaking machinery just comes hauling ass and everything stops. Your mom, she has to stop the car, wait for the bells to stop ringing and the arms to come up so you can drive. The whole world freaking stops as you just watch. Sometimes 100 cars go by, on the train,
Yeah,
and
they can be rather large, rather long, lengthy.
mhm. and I had train sets as a kid, even the electrical ones and all that. Uh, a lot of mouth breathers. Still have to wipe up the ash. My son loves to watch trains. Yeah, hey, there's just something about it, and I know that uh, they're less and less used. I want to say, here in the states, and I think that's too bad. There's just something so very American about them. Just you know, just the ingenuity, and the I don't know. We just love everything about them,
Yeah, they
except
are neat.
the wait. When you're in a hurry and the long ass train, you got to get somewhere, and you're just like, there's nothing I can do. There's
Come
nowhere.
on, man, come on.
I'm first in line, so nobody's getting out of my way because I'm pissed off.
Right.
But you just say, hey man, train. You know, I'd wait for the train.
Is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. So what are you working on, man?
I'm enjoying this weather on the front porch. Well, it's our only porch on the porch, and I'm painting some. Oh, here, let me show you.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, I don't know if you've done it, or I spaced it, or what, but I need to see a video of your travel paint kit. Nice.
15 mil. They're mounted. Well, they will be as soon as I glue them onto the
The horse.
the horsey.
Nice.
Yeah, they're. I don't know if you can see. It's not focusing, of course. It's like a priest. Got
Mm-hmm.
a cross around his neck. He's got a club. You call him a cleric, I guess, in game terms. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm really enjoying the weather. And here, hold on. I put out a short right before you hopped on, so you have to check it out too. But I am definitely camping out. I'm
Oh,
set
look
in
at you. Oh, I'm so
for the
jealous.
day, baby.
I cannot do
For
that
the
where I
day.
live. It is too freaking hot. My water cup would literally evaporate before my eyes.
Got the nice ivy around.
That's gorgeous. That is
Got
absolutely
a little
just
fan blowing some extra cool air. There's 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 which one is that? That's Ollie sitting there looking out the door.
that is literally living the dream, man.
Now you got to make your own oasis wherever you're at. That's what I tell anyone and everyone. If they, oh, my place is, I'm like, well, unless you're planning on moving here within the next 4 or 5 years, you better just hold tight and make your own oasis.
Yeah, I was talking to a nephew yesterday. I would be out of here, but Jackie loves it. It's his home. He wants to do the things, and I'm not leaving him.
Nope.
Even though he's going to be 18 and an adult and stuff. It's like that doesn't set a good precedence.
No,
I
all my family scattered to the four winds. I got nobody, which I don't get. I don't understand, but so be it.
and I've lived all over the world, different countries, different states, and I was born in California, and I spent a majority of my life here. And I remember when it was great, and it could be great again. We just got to get the people to remember what it used to be like, and how good it can be, and how we don't need some of the nonsense that people are trying to make us get on board with. We don't need that. We don't need it.
Nope.
We can it worked in the past. We're already literally in some places, compared to some places in the world, we're centuries ahead. So if we take a break and maybe even a step back and realize how good we have had it, and how great it can be again. um,
And I really don't think it'd take much.
no, no.
It'd
You know
take a
what
little
would-
bit of effort, a little bit of effort, a
you
little
know
bit
what-
of
you know you know
investment.
what work, I had a feeling of something that would work. um, Something like that 80s show done right. You know what I mean? Remember how popular that 70s show was? And
Yep.
a good period, people like started dressing like that, and appreciating those things, as opposed to either that or the opposite, a really good dystopian movie showing people just how messed up the THX 1138 existence that they're shooting for would be. Because I mean, they're like they're pushing that hard, with
Yes.
the new internet laws, and speech laws and thought laws, and you know
Fart laws and all these dumb laws.
yeah, we need less, not more. And the next person who espouses more, needs to be taken out somewhere, and roughed up a bit.
Forgotten about.
I'm just
Taken
gonna say
out
rough.
somewhere and forgotten about, to put it politely.
Yeah, yeah, that's my imagination goes to where I live out in the desert. You know
Yeah,
And
wherever. Take them out and take them out far out somewhere and forget about them. You know, pig farm, middle of the high desert. You know, wherever, and just forget about them. That's all.
wow. Squirrel apparently chose violence amongst his oasis.
Well,
That's
I hate to say it, but a lot of times violence solves just about anything.
well,
Might not be the right way, but it'll solve the problem.
yeah. Well, it has solved more problems than we give it credit for. And
Yeah.
as a good Christian, I don't want to, you know, at least on
I
camera,
don't.
espouse,
Even I don't promote it. I'm not saying if someone says something stupid, punch them in the mouth. No, 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 no. But
but it's good for a comedic,
yeah,
relief,
yeah.
hyperbole, exaggeration, whatever you want to call it. We're a bunch of old geezers just trying to fucking paint our miniatures and play some games. The last thing we want to do is start a revolution. He went live on the farm. Social credit scores, yeah. The whole of the West Coast wants to be like California now. Dude, you gotta admit, California's freaking awesome. I mean, back in the day, the whole world wanted to be here, and the whole world loved it for reasons that you could not find anywhere else. All I'm saying is we bring back those reasons, and we share them with the rest of the world. It's like, hey, you could be cool too. Just wear the sneakers and the tracksuit. No,
I'm
haven't
sorry, I
told.
had a package getting dropped off. I was on mute
Oh,
talking
you
to the
lucky,
delivery guy.
lucky man. I got a bunch of packages yesterday, and I got another one coming today. Which I'm telling you guys, if you really uh, work not work the system, but make people realize that time is money and shit. I bought some stuff on eBay, and I'll be getting them in the mail soon today. Um, and this guy was slow as molasses. I thought he had just forgotten, and I was on him, and it took him like it'll be about 3 weeks that I finally got my minis. Not the end of the world. I'm not even going to paint them or touch them. When I get them. You know, but I'm like, dude, what the hell? Just be honest. Did you flake? Did you buy them from somewhere else and are selling them to me? Is that what's going on here? Is that what's going on in the neighborhood? And
Yeah,
he refused to answer whether he flaked or bought them from someone else, because he said, just tell me, just be honest with me, man. You know, you don't know me from Adam, etc. But just be freaking, not didn't say just be a man, but uh, full refund, and they'll be here today.
just
It's
be a good
20,
person.
$20. I got it all back. Um, I would have just not left him feedback and pick grab my minis and went about my merry little way and painted them next month or whatever. um, but sometimes you know something good will happen like that. I've had many an instance where people will send you a partial refund because they're slow, because by the rules they're supposed to have it out in 5 days from the time they get the money. 5 days after that, even eBay will start getting on their ass like, hey, you need to mail this. Guy paid you in good faith. What the frick, um, and also if you buy like a bunch of things, try to put them all in your cart and then pay for them. But if not, just remind the seller that, hey, I paid way too much on shipping because whatever, eBay or the way you set it up, you don't allow for combined shipping, and a lot of times you'll end up getting an extra couple of bucks back, and it adds up. I bought three things, more Reaper minis from another seller, and they'll be here in a couple of days. I'll show them to you guys.
Nice.
The one of them I got, you guys might have seen. It's the Reaper Sleeping Beauty. It's
I don't recall that.
it's just a woman on a bed, scantily covered with the sheet or the blanket or whatever, just the right
Yeah.
curve showing, nothing, NSFW, with some like roses on the bed. She's all like sprawled out, like just totally zonked out. It's a really lovely little piece. And I got that and some other things, and I'm looking forward to that. I'll never use it in a game, if I do, it's like kind of creepy. But just to see if I can get it to look, more realistic. If that, a lot of
Yeah.
times the stuff I paint it doesn't look realistic at all. It looks cartoonish because it's meant to. It's a war game. But see if I could work on the textures of the folds and of the fabrics and the skin tone and things like that. I'm working on that because let's face it, most of the stuff we paint is like covered head to freaking toe in gear and armor and or fur or scales. We don't actually get to practice those techniques. And when we do, it's like you slap some flesh color in a wash and hope it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Just it's a practice in realism.
mhm. My mom used to paint a lot of portraits and things like that. So I grew up seeing that, but never had any uh, chance to really
Practice.
do that, even with the art classes, because I would have just tried to draw nudes and got kicked out of the class. In high school, of course, like what? It's art. You can't do that. Why? All the greats do it. Where am I supposed to learn that? Maybe in college. Fuck you, I want to learn it now.
Yeah. Really.
Tired of using just my imagination. I want to use my imagination. If you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Hubba hubba.
But I also got some. What else should I get? So lots of vampire stuff, man. I'm just lots. Oh, check this out, squirrel. I might have showed this off a while ago, but
Yeah. What you got?
it's West Wind. Yeah, I believe it's West Wind. Uh, blister pack of Dracula's Carriage, all metal,
Ah, love it. You
four
had me. You
horses.
had me sold at metal.
I got it from freaking uh, Noble Knight. $20.
Nice. Double might have
It,
some
it
deals from time to time.
It's
They
like
do.
20. It's got to be like 28 mil because I know it's not 25. Yeah, it's 28 mil, four horses, like 30 pieces to build the whole thing. Um, it's gorgeous for a game called
That'll be a
Vampire
nice
Wars.
one. That'll be a nice one. That'll be a nice one to even put up and do make it into a little bit of a diorama
Oh,
scene.
absolutely, absolutely.
Put that up
Uh,
there. Put some wolves around it.
yeah, I
Little
saw.
chunk of mountain in the back, like he's on a mountain pass, some trees. Oh yeah, I could see that, man. I'd have fun with
It's
that all day.
it's for a skirmish game called Gothic Horror Vampire Wars, where you can throw in Dracula, Sherlock Holmes, Jack the Ripper, the Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, all kinds of crap. That from the 1900s to you know or mid 1800s to mid 1900s, all across the planet, even the United States. There's some cowboys and yeah, absolutely. Uh, Looks like a fun game. I started reading it last night. It's got some weird playing card, uh, turn mechanics where you make a little deck of cards, and when a certain card comes up, you get to move that piece, for either side of the thing.
Okay.
It's like, can we just do something else? Because that's just sounds like kind of a pain in the ass. Cool shirt, by the way. And
Oh yeah, one other classic. It's this one's just got the red sleeve instead of the blue sleeve. Like I
nice.
said, I enjoy the baseball tees. They're my favorite go-to relaxing shirt.
I only have one, and it's a Rush concert shirt from the Signals tour that is so thin you
I remember
can
you talking about that. I said
you
you
can.
should frame it,
Yeah, I gotta find it.
hang it,
I think I know where it is, and I could frame it, but
hang
uh,
it in your room in your area. You don't have
Yeah,
to hang it in the living room to annoy the wife. Put it
the
in
only
your
area I
den.
got left is a place right here that I'm saving for the map that Jackie worked on for Emperor's Choice. I got to get a frame for it. There's just enough room, and that's it. I'm tapped out. I'm working real hard, or Jackie and I are working real hard to convince the wife to let us put up the three original Star Wars movie posters down in the downstairs man cave. But I got to go get frames first. Like I already bought the frames; they're going up. And Steven, that sucks. All I can say is get yourself a really good pair of magnifiers, and be very very careful when you glue the thing together. Um, were they metal? Because if they were, then that might be easier to fix. But if they're not, just be very very careful. And what I find works best is it's going to take two people. Okay, if you got a son or a woman you trust, you hold the two pieces together and you tell her just a tiniest little drop right there and let it seep into the cracks. Because no matter how close, how much you squeeze it together, the super glue will still get in there. You know,
Yeah,
and
it usually does. It usually does.
if you've got the piece lined up, the pieces, like a puzzle, and they fit, get trying to hold that and then do it with the other hand, you'll screw it up and it'll be off kilter, and then you'll get a super glue glob that might be hard to file away or whatever. But if you get the two person thing, and maybe even if you've got any accelerator, the spray stuff, as soon as she drops it, tell her with the other hand, psh, just spritz it right there, and you're good to go.
Or
But
you
I
could
would
put a light, very light dab of um, Elmer's glue, PVA, before you hold that together, and then drop the
super glue.
super glue, and it'll like count to three, and it's done.
Nice. I've never. I mean, you've told me that before, but I would have never guessed that the two work together like that. Because
Try it out.
PVA is like this freaking slow as molasses. It's
Try it
like
out. You'll be amazed.
I'm already amazed that the concept's even a thing. I don't really like using accelerator because it actually gives you a weaker bond. They did tests, super glue with and without accelerator, what's stronger, and accelerator is faster, but it's not as strong a bond. And Stephen, I would love to see this set of Traveler minis. If they're metal, are they like
Yeah,
a
that'd be
remake
cool.
of the old Martian Metals 10 mil? Because I wouldn't
That'd,
be opposed to that. Those were cool. Because you
that'd
got
be
so
real cool.
many in a little blister pack. You guys remember that from Martian Metals? Those little tiny 10 mil Traveler and Striker miniatures.
That would be really cool to see.
Because if there's more to be had, because I've got like snapshot and several maps of Starship interiors and things, and you can do you can use the 10 mil minis in them because they were meant to be used with little card counters before the metal minis came out, and I love. I still have my original copy of Snapshot from like 1979. I've kept it with me in like damn near perfect condition since then. I've got a sealed copy of Traveler as well, but I picked that up just as a collector, and I got that for like dirt freaking cheap. I'll never open it because I play Mongoose now, and it's still all good. But I would love, Steve, if you can send me a link or something or the name of the company, and I'll go check it out because I love me some Traveler stuff, everything. It's probably even though it's probably the game I played. Like it's like in number of hours, probably number three. I played a way too much Palladium, so it picks up the second spot. But
I haven't played Traveler a whole heck of a lot, but man, is it fun. It's a good
it,
game.
it's solid. It was one of those games. When I got this one book, I think Citizens. of the galaxy that introduced the barbarian and the belter and the diplomat and the doctor and some other career paths. I'm like, I could literally play any game with this now. And then I got the Thieves World box set that actually had traveler stats for the Thieves World characters because it was like a world box set. You could play here.
Yeah,
You can bring any characters you want into Thieves World, and one of the conversion chapters was Traveler. How to
that's awesome.
eh, eh, tell me about it. It was like it validated my own thought process that I could use Traveler to play D&D, which
Yeah, you could.
I mean, I was on that route when I started trying to make a Star Wars game using the player's handbook. It's
Okay.
like, okay, what would a Jedi be? What would a stormtrooper be? Using just that's all I had. Uh,
Yeah, you use what you got, you know?
and writing it all up and uh, trying to figure it out because I couldn't. Doing that was way easier than taking my lawnmower out amongst the neighborhood, trying to find people who needed their lawn mowed, who would pay me to mow their lawn, uh, etc. Versus going and buying some other game, which eventually I did, and that was Traveler before West End Games did their Star Wars game. And even then, I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's kind of expensive. Yeah, I'm just going to buy the Unearthed Arcana instead, I think, or something like that,
Yeah, something
um,
D&D related.
for years and years. I didn't even buy the Star Wars RPG until, oh gosh, like right before Jackie was born. And I still only played it with George and Omen and Off Grid the one time. And it's all right. But I can't see ever wanting to run it. If I get that much in a Star Wars mood, I'll just either watch the movies with Jackie, or I'll just play Knights of the Republic. As much as I really do love the first three movies, um, playing in that universe is hit or miss.
Yeah. I was lucky or blessed for the pricing hike for older material for RPGs. I got a original, I think it's the second printing Traveler box set with all the three little black books. Got that pretty cheap, like
It's
60 bucks or something. And it's in serviceable good condition. Nothing's falling apart, nothing's written on, spilled on, it's nice.
it's that's one of the things I try to reiterate on this channel is that all the old games are still good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what innovation, ascending armor class, blah 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 blah, Boon and Bane and all the disadvantage, all that crap. I can still pull out 90, one of 90% of my games and play them if I got the right crew who want to play it.
Yeah, they'll still work just fine at the table.
It's just like those old video games. You want to play Mario or Donkey Kong, and you've got hey, what's up, James? If you've got some people who want to play the game, whatever it is, it still works. People still play Battleship and Monopoly for Christ's sake. Yeah, Jackie and I were looking for our Star Wars collectible game miniatures last night. Couldn't find them. They're packed away in some bin somewhere because he wanted to use some of the Star Wars monsters for aliens or whatever into the game he's running. I bet he's not even out of bed yet. As we wake him up at 8 o'clock, I wake him up at 9 o'clock. Here it is, almost 10 o'clock. His players start showing up at 12 o'clock.
Living a good life. God bless them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and it's going to be a big crew. It's going to be a lot of freaking pizzas going to have delivered.
It's all right.
But his mom's like, "It's so expensive. Why do you keep doing that?" I'm like, because when I was a kid, I would have done anything to have, parents or even the kids able to, you know, afford to do that. You know, most of the time, we drank Kool Aid, and if we were lucky, there might be the ingredients to make some, French bread pizza. You know, the cheapest possible way to make pizza you can think of, a group full of kids with a cool place to play. You know,
Yep.
with a cool environment. Because my parents were always like, "What are you guys doing in there?" Blah, 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 blah," I had no clue. Because they didn't have that kind of group of friends growing up. And my place was the place where everybody showed up, and we all played D&D. We played as often as we could. I'm sure it didn't help that there were kids who were smoking. They weren't big fans of that, but other than that, which that's never going to happen here. They're never going to be drinking alcohol, doing anything crazy. They got a safe place to play D&D
Yes.
and promote the fact that this is a wholesome hobby. Most of the kids, if they're not Christian and not headed off to the military or something like that, they're still really good kids, really respectful, and appreciative, you know, and they'll always, always, always go forward in their life having this memory of these great games, no matter what else happens. Every time someone says Dungeons and Dragons, worshiping Satan, yeah, no, none of that. Um, they'll always have this time, to compare it to and to strive for. And I've, gone to great lengths to make sure that, I mean, the only thing we don't do is ambient music, because there's 8 kids, 9 kids.
Yeah, that's just something they'll be talking over the music, getting louder and louder.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, we never did that. We still don't do that when we get together. And my upbringing was similar to yours. Our house was a place where the kids could just walk in the door anytime.
Mhm.
Didn't
Bikes laying
matter.
in the front yard, right?
Did not matter. They just the door was it was always open for the kids.
Mhm. That was one thing my parents did do, was they left the front door open all day.
Yep.
I don't know why. It wasn't hot or anything like that. The front door was always open.
Yeah, ours. Well, I mean, we had the screen door, but and if the door was closed at night because it was chilly or whatever, it was still unlocked.
Mhm. So you live in
You know,
Canada, is what you're telling me.
who me? I don't
Come
live
on,
in Canada.
you know the joke is nobody
Yeah,
locks their doors in Canada.
yeah, yeah. But no, I mean, that's just how the house was. You didn't even have to knock. They said, "Don't even knock. Strangers knock. You're not a stranger. Come on
Yeah,
in."
yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, this is kind of a weird story, but we were doing all our things last night, and 2 of Jackie's friends who are kind of weird but kind of cool, not going to go into any details, but one of them stopped by. Is like, "Hey, can I use your restroom?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course, come on in." You know, uh, barely. I've only met them twice, and they're. If you saw at least one of them, would be like, "That guy's weird." I bet he's got some stories to tell, even though he's only like 18, 19, whatever. Um, he's probably done some cool shit that I don't want Jackie doing. But it's just I want them to have this time, and you know that's how we promote the hobby, right? I'm more of a cynical
Yes,
guy over sad.
that's how we promote the hobby. And not only that, they're children. They should know they're safe.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to spend probably $100 on pizza this
Oh well,
afternoon. Hey, it's water under the bridge. We had a
worth it. You'll
minstrel who
get another
died.
$100 some way or another. You won't even miss it.
No, no,
For that,
no.
that's an investment. You won't even miss it.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, uh, they're anybody else's family would probably look at it completely different. as kind of a pain in the ass. And I'm like, this, like his mom's like, oh, not this again. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is like this is like the Super Bowl for Jackie,
You
with his
know,
team playing.
yeah, you should. I mean, God bless her, but there should be a little joy. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. It's safe. Let's have fun. Let's do something that's not wandering around like a pack of coyotes and getting into trouble.
Fucking James. We had a monkey who really liked Mike Oldfield, but we paid him peanuts.
Hate him, Pete.
Your in-laws' house was like that? No, that was my house. It's always going to be my house. That's what I want to do when I open a game shop. Is it to be more of a game hall than shop? Because you know, get people playing games. They'll bring in more people. They'll bring in more people, and they got to get their fix somewhere. So yeah, I don't use any of those clear coats ever. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I
Uh,
do.
I I know I should, but I just don't. Someday Jackie may want to repaint them or strip them, and uh, it's one less thing to cut through. And I myself am constantly going back over minis and touching them up and repainting them and stripping them myself. I've got one of my favorite miniatures I've stripped 4 times, and it's right here. As a matter of fact, check this guy out. Okay, he's like a space marine, but it was
Yeah, yeah.
from
You said that the other day. That's sweet.
with this little freaking frisbee of death. I love that. It's the goofiest of killing machines, but it's kind of like Phantasm. You throw this remote controlled, mind controlled razor disc of death. The flying guillotine, if you will, for space marines, and it track. In my head canon, of course, it doesn't really do that. It tracks down the target and freaking, we'll just off with their head. Yeah, off camera, I might talk about uh, the kids that came by. They were interesting. Yes, Coco, exactly. You know, if I was into some other thing, like sports or more into music like I used to be or whatever, it would be the same thing. Bring his friends in, let them enjoy the thing, so that more people do the thing instead of do this. I'm so sick of freaking this. Even I'm doing it. I started freaking playing solitaire for Christ's sake. Like last month on my phone because I was somewhere and I was bored and I'd never played a game of solitaire in my life. I didn't even know how to play, and now I'm playing it, and I'm like, I'm fucking bored. I am really freaking bored if I'm doing that, and I normally I would not even take my phone with me, but I have to now because the wife, you know, gets lost, you know, uh, all the time and forgets what she's doing and things. So if we go somewhere together, I got to use a tracking device on her, which is funny because she doesn't know this, but it's got this this cone that shows you which way you're facing, which is really
Yeah.
kind of interesting, that we're carrying around tracking devices all day long, and I
Oh
can
yeah,
use
we are.
it. I can use it and find her. He's like, "How'd you find me?" I'm like, "Just psychic, I guess."
My spidey senses.
Uh, James says I strip and repaint a lot, but dull coat isn't too hard to strip through. Okay, alternative armies, Iron Age. I don't know what these are, um, but I've got a couple sets now of this command unit line. It's got this officer with a power sword. I mean, and they're total, old school Space Marine ripoffs from like 1989. There's a guy with this tricorder thing, which is kind of cool. You never see, it's like the equivalent of the Army man with the radio. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Or the binoculars, which I always thought were some of the more fun army men, and then the guy with the clearly it's a flamer or a plasma gun. I forget which, but and I don't even use them for Space Marines. I use them for another game. Ion, they do 28s and 15s. Oh, I know, because we're looking at getting Jackie a new keyboard and possibly a trumpet. I kind of hope he doesn't want that. Um, but he's been taking music classes for years now, and I'm like, well, now that college is a thing, let's cancel that and sign him up for a music class so we at least get a freaking grade, you know?
Get a credit, get a grade, get towards getting that piece of paper that says he knows something.
Wife star, that's good. That's good. I use it for Jackie as well. Like when he was going to school, I would, get an alert when he's almost home so I can get rid of the girls and have them, go back to wherever they came from. And then, start dinner and be like, hey, what's up? No, you don't smell perfume. He's ordering yours.
Ah,
I'm kidding, of course.
gyros, gyros. That's a good call. I love it. Me a good gyro.
Yeah, I've never had one. I've heard
What?
good things about them. I've never had one. Never. I'm like really weird. I don't very often like experiment with new foods. I'm like kind of done, and it just was never a thing growing up. That we would have them or
Well,
do
if they
anything
do
with
order gyro, cut a slice off of it and try a bite.
it. If I had a place nearby, I might even just go grab one. But we
Well, I
don't.
mean, if they already have some, they don't mind sharing just a slice of it, and you can try a bite, and then you go, "Wow, those are good." Next time, order me one too.
Yeah, we don't. There's nowhere to get them. There's like
No,
no. I don't know of a Mad Greek or any kind of restaurant like that. Um, anywhere, anywhere within 50 miles.
that's a
It's
shame.
kind of it's like a trio of really small towns, and they all have the same shit, and it's all big corporate. Jack in the Box, McDonald's, Burger King, and
Yeah,
Carl's Jr.'s cutting out, and of course, uh, In and Out is probably gonna skedaddle, and I think El Pollo Loco is also saying, "See ya."
that's a shame.
It really is, but I think the bad guys for the bad guys, it's all according to plan.
Most likely.
They saw I joke, but not really. They saw RoboCop and went, "Hey, that's a great idea. Let's get everybody to move, and then buy up the property, and then fix it."
And then sell it for 5 times as much.
Hmm. Turn it into one big 5 minute or 15 minute city. Everywhere you go with freaking facial recognition everywhere, and complete control over the citizenry. And if you think I'm being weird about it, and conspiracy theorists and stuff, prove me wrong. Go show me where that they don't want that. Give me an argument why the government of the planet would not want exactly that for all of us. And
Oh
when
yeah, the genuine powers that be.
yeah. Why would they not want complete control over us, and make sure we all behave and all buy what they tell us and vote the way they tell us, etc.? Why would they not want that?
Especially when they're monitoring us from their underground cities.
Right. Was it Arby's that had heroes about 6 years ago? I don't know. I haven't eaten at an Arby's in about 10 years because out here they suck. They're nasty. And I had a friend who worked at Arby's, and it informed me how the roast beef starts
Oh
out
yeah,
as a liquid.
pretty much.
I'm like, you're kidding me? Like, nope. Starts
Nope.
out as a liquid, then we do the thing to it, and then we cook it, and then we slice it, and then you suckers eat it. Like, but I really love their chicken. Oh, their chicken strips. Oh my god.
Even though it's crap, every now and again I do enjoy an Arby's. Every once in a while,
Yeah, I know
maybe once a
they
year.
used. I used to freaking love those. And like I said, the chicken. Me and my ex girlfriend, we'd go there because we worked together. Big mistake. We went there every day, Monday through Friday, for lunch, and it was awesome.
I always like their French dip sandwiches.
I only had one once, and I was really young, and it just didn't super like grab me. But as
But
a
the
grown up,
classic,
yeah, I know. As a grown up, I'm like, you know what? That does sound kind of good. I like all the things, and put them together. Um,
it's simple. It's just it's like kind of like a almost a mini sub with just their roast beef and I think it's a Swiss cheese,
uh-huh. And then
and
onions.
you would dip it in the au jus, dip it in the beef drippings, and man, is it good?
Um, that is so nasty, Shellback. Chicken starts out as a liquid too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ha ha ha.
That's Yeah, they actually offered me endless pleasure, but apparently they torture my clone forever. Could just be an eternity of free jazz. So I drank the poison chalice. Sorry, Clonio. James is just all kinds of freaking good mood this morning, right?
Yeah. Hey,
You are welcome to join the show if you like. You always have a seat here, James. He and I have been talking a lot about like really small scale war games and war games in general. He's really trying to freaking push me into historicals, man. I'm telling you, I haven't bought any yet, but I've thought about it. I've thought about it. As a matter
and
of
there's
fact,
some really decent, affordable like starter sets for the historicals out there too.
oh yeah, I've got somewhere. Well, I don't. Jackie does. I bought him this model kit. There was like this diorama of the Brits versus the Germans, WW2. He really wanted it, was eyeballing it at a Hobby Lobby for years. It's got like two tanks, a bunch of dudes and stuff. And it's up there on a shelf, just sitting. It shall not be infringed, Mr. Shadow. Yes, yeah. I, I'm not sure if I was going to play a historical, what it would be. Uh, but it's kind of narrowed down to like Revolutionary War, uh, WW2, and maybe some of the uh, some of the battles during the West. If you versus the Mexicans or something like that, or that era. Although I could actually get into like a Vietnam skirmish game, that could be pretty fun. In the jungles or the tunnels and things like that. But I've never heard anybody ever, except Recon, right? The RPG. I've never
Yeah,
heard of anybody ever talk about a Vietnam era war game ever.
I haven't heard it spoken of either. I mean, might be out there. I bet you there would be um, one that's a chit game.
Hmm. I could see that being highly
'Cause
likely.
there's a fellow I follow, and every now and again I'll jump in and watch him because that's his thing. Is all those uh, type of board games, war games. They're the counters, the little chit, them little. He's really into them, so I kind of lightly keep my fingers on the pulse because I found some really neat things. I've been eyeballing. I've been like, this would be kind of cool because they're usually a 2 to 4 hour ordeal, and
Well, do you remember the micro games, the company that put out Ogre originally, and Chitin, and
yeah,
Sticks and Stones, and Warp War? There's a whole bunch of historicals in there, and I never got those to complete my collection of the micro games, which I have like I probably have like 50 different micro games from all the different companies. Uh, Micro Games, Task Force Games. All the companies that made those little pocket games. Even TSR has a couple that I have, and I could see getting into some of those just because they're super super small, and they're part of the collector in me can go, okay, I did this, I tried that, and let's see if I enjoy it. But at the same time, it's like I could really get into painting some minis too. So let's see if there's something out there. What James said here, U.S. Cavalry versus Sioux, that would be pretty fun. And I do have some Indian miniatures, but they're most of the ones that get massacred because it's like an Indian village set that I picked up that I was going to give to an ex girlfriend, but she became an ex girlfriend, and they've been sitting in this place. I kid you not, for 20 years. Like I can go right to them in my garage, and they're not even like in a box; they're just on a shelf, like just sitting there for some dumb reason. I know I'm never going to see her again. It's been, you know, 30 years, or more. But I'm like, I don't know where to put them, and so I just keep putting them there. But they're like, the villagers, a lot of squaws and people, mortar and pestle doing weird shit like that. But, they could be like the objective, I'm coming in as the cavalry to, slaughter everybody, or I'm there to protect them. I could see doing that. Because I did have, did you have like a lot of army men as a kid? Did you ever have a
Oh,
Fort Apache?
mountains of army men, them little green mountains of them.
Mm-hmm. Because I had uh, the Fortress of Navarone, that big plastic mountain, which I still wish I had because I could so use that for so many games. Put that on the table at the far end. As Mount Doom. That
Yep.
would be freaking classic. But I had Fort Apache. That was like my dad's favorite for some reason. And James and I were talking. When we get real old, we can't see anymore. We're just going to go to 54 mil plastic army men because they make everything. They make literally everything. And I've got this really old war game. Let me show it to you real quick because I know nobody's ever seen it.
Yeah, yeah. Osprey does some really good skirmish rules. You're
Check
right
this.
about that.
It's like 1970s. New third edition, the Old West gunfight rules.
Cool.
It was written by this guy. Uh, Unfortunately, he was a wheelchair bound vet or something like that, who spent most of his life writing war games. And I've always wanted to play this one because check this out. Hold on. It's actually okay. I need my freaking reading specs, but this is what it says on the back. These rules can be used to fight skirmishes anywhere on the American continent from 1816 to 1899. For example, the Wars of Liberation in South America, trailblazers against hostile Indian tribes, Mexican revolutions, the newly raised First Dragoons protecting the immigrant wagon trains, Texans struggling for independence against the might of Mexico, remember the Alamo, the terrible Seminole Wars in Florida, hillbilly family feuds, Mexican revolutions, bank robberies, train robberies, jailbreaks, lynch mobs, saloon brawls, knife fights, U.S. cavalry against hostiles, Custer's famous last stands, range wars, showdowns, cowmen versus sheepmen, homesteaders against Indians, and oh yes, Mexican revolutions.
Nice,
He
nice.
said,
Hold on one second. I'm letting Zadrock in the house. Hold on, buddy.
let's see what year this was.
All right, I'm back, but I just had a letter in the
Well,
porch
tell her
door.
to say hi. Yeah, yeah. Check this out. This is.
Hey, Shadow.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good.
Excuse me. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Check this out. This is kind of sad. It says in memoriam. Steve Curtis, one of the gifted and brilliant creators of these rules, passed away during the summer of 1975. He spent
Oh,
most of his life confined to a wheelchair because of multiple sclerosis and died before reaching 30. Steve's father has granted me permission to reprint this classic work. I'm sure Steve would want his work continued. After playing these rules, I'm sure you'll agree with me that our hobby was prematurely deprived of a very creative talent when Steve was taken from us. He will be greatly missed by all of us. Lou Zochi, December 1975. How many of the games that we love are going to have the same thing in them at some point? You know,
yeah.
uh, and I never met these people. This book just happened to come into my possession, and by God, one of these days I'm going to make sure I get to play the shit out of it, even if I have to use 54 millimeter scale miniatures, just so stuff like this just doesn't get completely forgotten, end up in a landfill where nobody gives a shit, and they're all forgotten. They all worked real hard at having a really good time and sharing a good time with other people. A lot of people out there work their whole life to do the exact opposite, you know,
Yep.
and we, you know, people in this ridiculous, pastime have gone out of our way to make sure everybody we know has a really good freaking time playing with toy plastic army men and rolling clickety clock math rocks. And there are a lot of people out there that would much rather, again, see us doing this shit, knowing exactly what we're doing, exactly what we're looking at, and be able to algorithmically predict what the hell we're thinking based on what we're looking at.
Oh
You
yeah.
you you can't be more controlled than that, you know.
Yeah, you can't be more easily manipulated.
I like small things too. Not going to go into certain things. I just like dinky things. Conflict 47 or Bolt Action would have no problem finding opponents. Oh, I know. I've been looking at Conflict 47. Uh, all the mechs and the weird shit.
Yeah.
Uh, but I've got a crap ton of that kind of stuff already. If I was going to do it, I would want to do like try to get an understanding of why people still play historicals versus just complete fantasy and fiction. You know, even though historicals are, in my opinion, fantasy and fiction, because you're not recreating every exact maneuver. Hello, Putty Tat. You look like a happy cat.
That's
You know what
that's
I mean?
how that's the one he had to go to the vet for 4 days because he had such a massive upper respiratory infection. So they had to
Well,
keep him for a couple days and pump him full of fluids and antibiotics and whatnot. But he's home. He's doing great.
glad to hear it. James is working on Dark Ages armies for Lion Rampant. Um,
I have that book.
uh, I need to take a picture of that castle that I have. What's that really kind of famous model company that makes things like that? Oh God, it's like an Italian company. It's a really nice, like 1/72 scale medieval castle, probably about this big when it's all built. I put together half a ladder before I gave up for some reason. I'm like, oh, this scale is too small. It's not going to work with my 28 mils. Um, it's been sitting in of all places. It's actually in the laundry room with the train sets. Um, but let me remind me, James, to get a picture of that for you, because it might be something I can send you that you would get some use out of. Because I won't. The likelihood that I'm going to go to 1/72 scale for medieval, probably not very likely. Yeah, James is more of a war gamer and board gamer than RPGer. Also, he's also a bad influence. I don't know who keeps telling you that. Uh, Take care, Shellback. We'll see you tomorrow, maybe. This is weird. Last week flew by, and this week is like really creeping along like a snail's pace, and I'm loving that for some reason. Um, you know what? I did do a review on this back when I was reviewing westerns, but I probably will go back and review it. I remember it was kind of clunky. In 1975, that's when this, and that was third edition of this. Okay, so it hadn't seen the uptick in innovation in rules and what have you. Uh, but I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna try and play the shit out of it because there's like a whole bunch of different scenarios that you could play, and I've even got. Did I put it somewhere else? Yeah, I put it in the garage. I've got Gunfighter by SPI or one of the other companies, Avalon Hill or whatever. And I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, this game kind of stinks, but it's got a lot of cool uh, maps and counters and things like that. So I could use all that, but just use some other rules, like maybe those, um, or Boot Hill third edition or something like that. Although to be honest, Mini Warmut, what's happening, man? Long time no see. And
Mini
speaking
Mud.
of Mini Warmut, go watch my last craft video. We're going to be making ray guns out of squirt guns. You should join that challenge. Just saying, you'd have fun. You just go buy a 99-cent store squirt gun, and turn it into like something that you might see in Blake Seven. Like a prop, TV sci-fi, cheap sci-fi, gun. So you could just have like like a prop like this here, just so when your players get uppity, you can blast them in the smithereens, uh, allegedly. And that's the next craft that we're doing, and of course there is a really cool prize for it. Jackie and I are already uh, got things working. I picked out my frame by picking a basic squirt gun, and I'm just gonna glue bottle caps and straws and things to it to make it not look like what it initially was, even though it doesn't really look like a real gun. So that'll be fine. And then paint it up, make it look real-ish, and see what happens. I'm listening while driving to my next job site. James says, "What a cute cat." Because history is wilder than fiction, maybe, but it's still grounded in some brutalities and some lack of jetpacks and ray guns and fire breathing dragons and things like that. That you know, I mean, thank God, realistically that we don't have to deal with that shit. But growing up reading and fantasizing about that crap, being able to play it out with rules and people who will take it seriously, at least for a couple of hours, means the world to guys like me. Duelist behind the film of the same name fought 47 times, but who would believe that? Some of those older rules have some gems. We lost Charlie Wessoncraft last year at like 98. Wow. Wow, that's pretty freaking old. All those guys back from WW2 handled their PTSD by painting toy soldiers and drinking tea. Absolutely. Hey, Janet, what's happening? Yeah, David A. Hargrave. He came back from Vietnam as an intelligence officer and combat photographer. And not only did he see some shit, he had to photograph it for posterity, and then make constant reports back to headquarters about all kinds of crap in one of the ugliest, conflicts of the 20th century. From an American perspective at least. And
Yeah.
what
Well,
did he
both sides. It's horrible for everyone.
and he came home and discovered Dungeons and Dragons. What a lucky stroke of fate. And then he went on to spend the rest of his life pursuing that hobby, and then sharing it with all of us. And now, generations later, my son has worked on it. I'm working on it, and hopefully Jackie's kids and grandkids will be able to partake in it as well.
Yes,
Janet, you
and
want
his
to
friend
get done?
and his
I'm
friend's
gonna
kids.
do I'm gonna do a little tutorial video to show how easy it is. All you need is a ray gun, some bottle caps, and doodads. Things that will look like switches or dials or buttons, or no bayonets or any crap like that. But unless you want to glue a butter knife to it. But we're gonna try and make a prop sci-fi gun that looks like something you might have seen in a 70s movie or TV show, so you can hang it on your wall in case of emergency. People are like, what the hell is that? Never seen a gun like that. If you can make it look like realistic, with the paint job, etc., just have something goofy on your wall. um, why the hell not, right? Maybe if you could even get one of those in case of emergency break glass, like plastic acrylic, like boxes and a little hammer. That would be freaking awesome. I actually have a place where I can put it right there, and just affix it to the wall, and you know, it, why not? We're always doing the small scale, a very uh, close branch of the hobby is props for movies. We're also going to, the month after that. No, actually, in 2 months, we're gonna do
Please,
spaceships, like prop spaceships from like shampoo bottles and crap like that. I got my Toblerone
good boy. Yes, the
spaceship,
Toblerone. Yep.
and when I'm done with this, you guys will be slightly amused or impressed. But I've already started working on this one. But all I did, a couple of Toblerone boxes, a couple of super glue bottle caps, a washer, some little cardboard, not cardboard, wood bits, a washer. But when it's all, I got a few more little details painted up. Maybe I'm thinking about throwing a bunch of decals on the wood here, to make it look like shipping container logos. If I can find some good uh, uh, decals, paste it on.
That looks
Uh, so it's
very,
just a big cargo ship.
very, very similar to the ships that were in. I forget the name of the episode, but one of the episodes of Cowboy Bebop, there was a lot of ships that were involved that looked like that. They were space. They were called space truckers. The people that piloted those ships, they were just hauling freight or whatever. Looks very, very similar. They were of that shape. That's kind of cool.
And it's out of garbage. It's literally made out of garbage shit that would go in the bin, but you can turn it into something, you know, it's never going to be in a movie, but
Yeah,
at least I had the experience, and growing up, I watched all the behind the scenes of Star Wars, and anytime they did one of those, I was involved with the Sci-Fi Model Builders Guild for a while, and I got a real appreciation for what those geniuses did, to make the special effects in the movies. Um, I got to touch the Dark Star, and I got to touch some of the other props from other movies. They said don't touch, so as a young man, I went poink. Damn right, I'm going
of
to touch
course.
it. I touched.
Being
I touched.
a young boy, you're gonna go.
I used to go to Movieland Wax Museum every weekend, and there were lots of things they said do not touch, including Robbie the Robot. My fingerprint is on him somewhere, in the front. No
Yeah.
spots. But having an appreciation for the unsung heroes of all those great productions back in the day, and maybe today, it's a lot of fun, and being a creative sort. And I hate when people call themselves creatives. Using grammar improperly. It's like, oh, it drives me insane. Um, doing this stuff, it's all connected. James had some really great ideas for some projects we're going to do in a couple of months as well. Uh, Things that we can do to maybe get other people to appreciate the hobby as well. When our spouses and our parents and our grandparents walk by and see this nonsense that we work on, ways we can actually get them to appreciate uh, the skill. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but this bookshelf
Oh,
is looking like a bookshelf. Hey, cat.
yeah, he's gingerly going across all the. Didn't knock anything over, but
See, that's looking like a bookshelf.
yes, it is. It's coming along rather well.
And it's all because of techniques that I call cheating, dry brushing and washing. I
That's
didn't
not
paint those
cheating.
black. I didn't paint those black lines. I painted around those black lines. And to be
That's not
honest,
cheating.
I could have painted half of this
That's a
with a blind.
technique. That's not cheating.
Right, but when I first discovered it, I'm like, oh, that's cheating. That's not fair. You know what I mean?
It's a, yeah, it's only cheating because you didn't know about it.
Oh, did she? Okay, well, hats off to her because that's a beautiful idea. They make these really cool like glass bubbles that are flat on one side with a hole that you can put plants and junk inside. And that's one of the ones we're going to do is we're going to make those for like our moms or something, and then put a little miniature in there hidden in between the little foliage and shit. Maybe it's a dryad, maybe it's a freaking stormtrooper, maybe it's a little mini dragon sleeping or a unicorn. There's that really great grenadier miniature. You remember that miniature grenadier? I think it was grenadier of the sleeping unicorn. You remember that?
Uh, that one I do not recall.
Okay. Well, it was a really cute little unicorn. 25 millimeter lead grenadier mini. It's just it's not laying down, but it's like curled up on the ground. Kind of nodding off or whatever. And you can just paint that little sucker up and clear coat it because if you're going to put it in a terrarium, it's going to be surrounded by moisture. You put it in there, nestled under a leaf. You give it to some female in your life, their heart's gonna freaking melt. Just saying. They see that
Uh,
shit.
Rock loves unicorns.
I'm more of a Pegasus guy, but I get it. Horses are awesome, and you give them some special defenses or special attack modes. I mean, come on. I mean, like half the Pokemon are freaking horses. You know, um,
Yeah, she said she's got. How many did you say? 3,000.
3,000 unicorns. That's where they all went. If you
Yeah,
ever wonder what happened to all the unicorns,
I
now
have. She rounded them up. It's all her fault. 3,000.
okay, are they all different?
Yes.
Then you
Yes,
have
they're all different. It's basically everybody knows I like unicorns, so whenever they can't think of anything to get me, they get me
A unicorn.
a unicorn.
do you have the Grenadier lead miniature sleeping unicorn?
I don't know if it's grenadier, but I do have a pewter or lead. It's very old, and
Is it
it's a
about the
sleeping
size of a
unicorn.
quarter? Is it about the size of a quarter?
Yeah, very may that. Yeah,
Okay, I would check underneath if it says Grenadier under it. It might be a Grenadier. You can show me a picture through Discord. I've had that miniature like half a dozen times, and given it out back out half a dozen times. And it's marshmallow is unicorn jerky.
sadly, the chances of me finding that are slim to nil right now.
Okay, okay. Well, I'll see if I can find I'll see if I can find a picture of it, and send it to you. And if that is in fact it, you've got yourself a little piece of gaming history, um, that is quite charming. And
Awesome.
I'm gonna try and find a couple for the terrarium so that I can hand them out to, some family members etc. Because it's like the perfect miniature to put in that. I mean, you could find a standing unicorn and put it in a
Oh,
terrarium.
oh yeah.
Um, but the sleeping little baby unicorn is just like, you know, the only thing that would be cuter would be like a sleeping, gnome or something, just like, put a little mushroom in there or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I have
That would be
snow
cute.
globes like that.
Uh,
Mommy
the,
and the
Go ahead.
mommy and the baby are sleeping. There's mushrooms around them. There's sleeping fairy. Um, can't remember. There was a whole bunch in it, and that I had 5 china closets
Oh,
full of all these unicorns,
nice, nice. Everybody should have a hobby, and and
and
and
that
and,
yeah,
and, and a
I
fire
have a
hazard.
few here, but not near what I used to. We just
Well,
don't have the room.
James and I were also talking about making snow globes because
Yep.
I always liked them as well. For some reason, just we had a couple when I was a little kid, as Christmas
They're pretty.
decorations. And as time went on, they would get broken and
Yeah.
whatever. And I don't think we have a single one in the house. And the holidays are coming up, and I'm thinking, you know, I got some dwarves. I got some snowmen, miniatures. Believe it or not, there's actually a company that makes an army of snowmen miniatures. And I
Oh,
was thinking, making quasi fantasy D&D ish snow globes, with a dwarf, out in the snow or something would be awesome,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that would be neat.
And I'm pretty sure we can find a way. Either there's a company out there that makes everything but what you put in it, you know,
Probably.
because it's. I mean, technically, you could probably make one with a mason jar if you had to or you wanted to. The right mixture of liquid that's in it to make the glitter fall properly and all
That's
that.
right.
Probably a lot of techniques and tutorials, I meant to say, out there to show us how to make something like that. And again, if your mom opens up on Christmas morning a box and in it is a dwarf doing this, like looking through the snow, that you hand painted and you shake it and the snow does the thing, your mom is going to put that up on the mantelpiece every year, you know,
Yeah,
with pride.
yeah. And if it's somewhat cost effective to do it, you can do one for each season.
Sure, sure. If you really want to, knock yourself out, I
Like a
wouldn't,
spring.
like Scotty, I wouldn't do it all at once. I'd be like, I would parse it out, to make you look more of a miracle worker. Because if you like, just go here's 4 snow globes, one for
No,
each
no,
season.
yeah, exactly. I would do one,
She's
like a
she's gonna go
seasonal.
like, well, my best friend Matilda, she'd love to have a set like this. And then there's Josephine down the road. She'd probably give you $25. Next thing you know, you got a freaking side hustle that you don't want. One at a time. Here you go. I worked all season on this for you. You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Just give it out. Once in the spring 1 year, once in the winter 1 year, once. Yeah, definitely.
And I'm certain if you really, really wanted to really go all out, you could find a little music box thing and put it underneath it, where you turn it and it makes the music, or well, you could go all out. But for starters, making a grade school esque project like this probably wouldn't be very hard or expensive. And who knows? Maybe if you're good at it and whatnot, you might make some for all occasions. I could see you know, like if you got the right liquid, right? Hear me out, and the right colored glitter, right? And you built up like a Mickey Mouse, as the sorcerer with his hands up, doing a spell, and you put the
Yep.
right liquid and glitter in it, and you shake it up, and now all of a sudden Mickey's surrounded by this swirling pattern of falling glitter. I guarantee that would make somebody's freaking day. I'm not a big Mickey fan, but I can see how like taking those skills and doing it in uh, a wider based audience would be kind of appreciated at the very least, or you can just take your favorite, Sauron miniature or Saruman, paint him up, and he's doing the freaking thing, and you shake it up, and all the glitter comes floating down around him, or something like that. You could find ways to kind of butch it up, make it less girly and feminine or whatever, or you could lean into it and go, here, I made this for you, mom, and then
Yeah.
watch your wife get all mad because she didn't get one. um, but ways we can use this hobby and these skills and this craft, to share with other folks, so they go, oh, so all these years you've been doing that, you could have been doing this. No, 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 no. I just learned how to do that, because
Now
that's a
you just flat out tell them, I love you, but this is you might get one next year or something, but don't hold your breath.
right, right. You could totally go, very goth with this project, and find some, necromancer or goth chick or whatever, and do the same thing, especially if you pick like a black and glitter, a black and silver glitter, and I'm sure you can find all kinds of different, flavors of this project using uh, the same skills and materials and things. And it probably, I mean, unless you get, really, a really expensive glass jar, everything else seems like, you know, cheap. A package of glitter, a mini, whatever the liquid is. I mean, it can't be any more expensive than like olive oil or something like that. I've seen in some cases, like I think lava lamps use like an oil.
Yeah,
And
probably a mixture of water and glycerin. Glycerin,
mhm. and
it
and and
works good with water.
anybody out there who's interested, want to help us out, do searches for tutorials on making snow globes or any of these other projects. You're welcome to help and add to the ideas, because uh,
Well, Zadarok already has a bunch of links for kits. Some of the kits you can actually make them the actual globe, not out of a mason jar, and some of them she said are as cheap as $10.
right, and that's the idea, and if we thanks, Mini Warmut, and I part of me, it does this because my son didn't have arts and crafts classes in school. They stopped doing that in school, and I noticed early on. It's like, uh, first off, I noticed that they get out of school before Father's Day, so they don't have to deal with that anymore. So we no longer get the cards or the really crappy,
No,
handmade, whatever they did in school, kind of gifts. They're kids. It,
it's
it may look crappy, to most people, but when it's your kid making it for you, it's like awesome, right? Um, I told the story how for my mom, I had made her in kindergarten, no less. In we had a ceramics section, or segment of that year. I made her a combination watering pot ashtray out of clay. It was like this bowl that had a handle and had a spout that was the nose of some weird creature, and then all along the side of it, it had those little resting spots for cigarette butts. And when after my mom passed away
nice.
and I was cleaning up, I found it. It was missing the nose, the spout, and the handle,
Yeah.
but almost 45 years later, 40 years later, she still had it in a drawer full of, jewelry and stuff. I'm like, you know, those things mean a lot to people, and they hang on to them. And, making something for your loved ones using our talents and skills, just, and I've imparted all of them that I could so far with Jackie, and now he gets to, uh, you know, do that stuff. I'll come up here, and I can tell when he's been here. because my desk is a bigger disaster than I left it. Mini Warmut, I look forward to seeing your blaster, and we're gonna do a bunch of other challenges, and I think you'll enjoy it. And you can even challenge us to a challenge. We do that too. Like in October, there's the Orktober challenge where you make something orky, and that's Mad Eye Miniatures thing because his birthday is in October, and so he does the Orktober challenge, and we always lose because he is a maniac, but it's still good fun.
Oh yes, great
So
fun.
enjoy the water. Um, I can actually feel the air conditioner now coming on up here. It's like, oh, that's nice. Um, but yeah, Zadarok, if you want to join these challenges, Janet, anybody else in the chat, feel free to just make something that by the rules, and submit it, and who knows, you might win the prize. I haven't done the video on the prize for this challenge, but um, I'm just gonna say uh, it's kind of awesome. I mean, it's maybe not, depending on your opinions of things, it may not be as awesome as this book that I need to mail off, the Flash Gordon uh,
Oh yeah.
comic strips from the newspaper, volume one, that Mike Dimart won. I need to send that out this weekend. It may not be as cool as that, or it may be cooler depending on what you are into, but it's something that I love just as much and I look at like all the time because I enjoy the shit out of that kind of thing. And, you know, it's just a way to encourage people uh, to participate and just do the best they can with what we do. You know, and share it with as many people as possible. Off to play in the water, sprinkler irrigation repairs, take care of all. I'm going to hit the shower as soon as the show is done because we've got guests coming and that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
I got a little painting done. I reminds me I need to do a little base work on these giant centipedes. Um, let's find another green. Actually, I kind of like the idea of using that other color. Where the hell is it? Was it this? No, it wasn't that. It's probably no. I'm getting closer to the green, so it must have been. Was it that one or was it? I'm gonna try this one. I'm gonna
Go for
try
it.
Lizard Folk Cyan for the bases to give them kind of an underdark feel. Hopefully, after I peel this dried paint off the cap because I've never used this color before. Okay, and what's up, Dean? How you doing, man? Where did I? Okay, there it is. Just painting up some minis, talking about crafting and war games and all that sort of thing. Hey, James, how's your progress with uh, doing the wargaming online? You've been working on that or uh, anything like that? Because uh, I think once you have that set up, you will have more people knocking at your door to play some war games online than you know what to do. You'll be like, I'm booked solid, man.
Yeah, hopefully.
If Bruce can pull that off and run 12-hour freaking crazy ass Pathfinder games, I mean, he's been doing that since I met him, and that was years ago. I mean, like I want to say almost 5 years ago. I met all you guys, and he's still doing that. That's freaking crazy. 12-hour game live stream games every other Saturday or every Saturday now. I don't know how that works. I feel like I see him every Saturday doing it, but I can't always stop in to say hi because sometimes I'm on my way to the shops and then I don't get back until later and forget. Just baking some frozen roasty before I cook some chicken fillet. I'm not sure what that is, but making me hungry. I had three breakfast sausage for breakfast, and it's about lunchtime here. I'm not sure what I'm going to make. Something simple. So I don't want to. I spent a lot of time yesterday cleaning up the house and making sure everything's spotless. And you know, Jackie's all like, fussy when it comes to having girls over. So got to help the kid out and make sure it all looks.
Yeah, make sure everything's up to snuff.
Yep, yep, yep. So he
Yeah,
passes inspection. Uh,
I think we're gonna have chicken with Cajun rice.
nice, nice. We are having pizza, but that's okay because uh, it's pizza. Even if it's bad, it's good.
I mean, it'll make a turd, bud. It's good enough.
I'm a big Hawaiian pizza fan.
Every once in a while, when you want to go out on a limb, I like a Hawaiian pie, but that's more of a once a year, once every, you know, every
Really,
very so often. Yeah, every now and again. Get your ham, your
even
pineapple.
even if I'm making a pepperoni pizza, I want pineapple on it. I know that's weird, but it's like my second favorite fruit, and I'll put it on a hamburger. I'll put it on freaking pizza. There's a couple of sandwiches it goes good in uh, as a side dish. With, I mean, we probably buy a pineapple, at least one pineapple, every 2 weeks, at least one. Pineapple, strawberries, and grapes are they're always going to be in the house. Always have those three fruits in the
They're
house.
good. Those are good go tos.
Grapes are just they're freaking grapes. I mean, you just
Candy off the vine.
it's like yeah, we're actually we've got a trestle started like 2 years ago, and this year we should get some grapes. But if we don't, you know, maybe next year. But uh, they do grow out here. We've got a friend who gave us the idea to do it, and his little vineyard in his backyard is it's pretty spiffy. It's actually quite impressive for the fact that we live in the desert. Um,
Yeah.
and of course, he never gives us any, but we know he's doing it. So we decided to do it ourselves, and I just put up the. It's not a gazebo, but whatever the trestle or whatever it's called that you hang them from. I just built that last week, and got to build another one this week. Fun stuff. Okay, once again, I poured too much paint. What am I going to use this color for? This time I'm using Plasma Bolt Blue. I'm really digging these like blue greens that are in the Army Painter line. I think this is too gaudy for that. But maybe his pants. Yeah, we'll do that. 'Cause I absolutely just I'm adamant about not wasting a drop of this stuff. I will if I like squirt some out on the palette, and I find out it's too much, and I've gone over everything on my table and can't find a place for it, I will open up the bottle and brush it back into the bottle. Oh no, that's not okay. Let's see. Nope. Oh man. Okay, dwarves. There's got to be a dwarf here. Where's that girl? There she is. Guess what, my lady? You get a blue green dress. Nope, wrong color. That's not going to go over well. Yes, I am mumbling to myself because you can't see what I'm doing, but I'll show you in just a second. Oh, and I get it all over my hand. The faster I work, the farther I get behind. Right there, squirrel.
Yep.
My woodshop teacher taught me that in seventh or eighth grade. Stuck with me, and um, it's amazing how many bosses never ever want to hear that, and will get bent out of shape if you say that. But they know it's true. Know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know. I know. I deal with with what we do.
Like, so you want me to screw up and have to start over? Is that what you're saying? You can just say that. We're government contractees, so I need you to screw up and start over. Oh, I can do
Yep.
that. That's no problem.
We need the band-aid to work for a couple months, and then you can come back in because production matters more than making this thing right, and we can maintain production for another year instead of a couple months.
Yep. Yep. So there we go. Dwarven lady's dress is blue green now, and I managed to use up all the color that was on my palette by doing that instead of wasting it.
Now,
Waste
you'll,
not, want not.
you'll
Um,
have to rewatch this at the 1 hour 56 minute mark, and you'll see something I did with this and this. I put these guys on, and in 3 seconds, I was shaking them like this. They are not coming off.
Excellent, excellent. I should have done that with something I glued yesterday that was iffy. Just gonna say,
It's a
but
great little trick, little technique, little cheat code, whatever you want to call it.
pepperoni and pipe.
Whatever they call it.
Mike, the only way to top it is by adding onions. I love onions
Yeah,
on
I
top,
like onions on a pie.
and every once in a while I'll throw red pepper. But that's it's really strong and it can overpower the taste of everything else. Believe it or not, even when chopped up in little tiny pieces. So we don't do it that often. But I don't even like. So much so that I don't even like normally order a pizza with ham on it anymore. Just pineapple and pepperoni, or pineapple and onions, or something like that. Because the ham is always like iffy. They're charging an arm and leg for it, but it's like crap quality.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm
My
gonna
son's
say
been,
goodnight.
been
Go
okay.
ahead.
My
Go
son's
ahead.
been on a kick of pepperoni, onion, and jalapenos.
Yeah, I can't do the jalapenos, man. Can't do it.
He
Too
likes
too
the
too.
spice.
I like a little spice, but my the rest of me does not, and I'm just too
Yes.
white for too much spice. The rest of the family, they just make fun of me, but like, hey, I never have to go to the doctor, so there's that. But yeah, I do. I got to get going because I got an hour till the kids get here for the game. Squirrel, always a pleasure. Zadrock, hope you're doing well. You guys have some fun and keep those ideas about the terrarium, the snow globe, the other stuff. In the back of your mind, if you want to feel creative and join in on one of these things or help out, appreciate it. Love to have you guys. Let's keep crafting and doing this stuff. Till our eyes fail us or our fingers fall off or whatever happens to old crafters when they get old. I don't know.
Agreed. All right. Love you,
Trail,
brother.
everybody. Love you too. Give the wife a hug for me.